In the moonlit night, a chilling wind whispered through the desolate trees surrounding the abandoned mansion. The old house stood in the heart of the forest, its once grand facade now weathered and worn, telling tales of a forgotten era. The locals spoke of it in hushed tones, warning of the malevolent spirits that supposedly haunted its decaying halls. A group of adventurous friends, drawn by the allure of the mysterious mansion, decided to spend the night within its ominous walls. Sarah, Jake, Emily, and Alex crept through the creaking gate, their flashlights cutting through the thick darkness that enveloped the estate. As they stepped into the entrance hall, the air seemed to thicken with an unspoken dread. Dust motes danced in the feeble beams of their flashlights as they explored room after room, each echoing with the eerie whispers of a bygone era. The walls seemed to absorb the stories of those who had lived and died within those walls. In the dim light, they discovered a staircase that led to the upper floors. The wooden steps groaned under their weight as they ascended. At the top, a long corridor stretched out before them, lined with doorways to forgotten chambers. As they entered one room, a soft voice echoed, whispering chilling words that seemed to come from the very walls themselves. "Get out," it murmured, sending shivers down their spines. Ignoring the warning, they pressed on, compelled by a morbid curiosity that refused to be quenched. In the heart of the mansion, they stumbled upon a room that seemed frozen in time. Dusty furniture draped in tattered sheets, cobwebs clinging to the corners, yet in the center an ornate mirror caught their attention. Its glass seemed to hold a reflection not of the room but of a long-forgotten family, staring back with hollow eyes. Suddenly, the temperature plummeted, and a ghastly figure materialized in the mirror. The ghostly apparition reached out, its skeletal fingers beckoning them. Panic seized the group, and they fled in terror, racing down the stairs as if pursued by unseen forces. Back in the entrance hall, the heavy wooden door slammed shut, trapping them inside. A haunting melody echoed through the mansion, a lament that spoke of tragedy and loss. The walls seemed to close in around them as the ghostly figure manifested once more, blocking their escape. Desperation and fear gripped the group. The ghostly presence spoke, its voice a mournful wail. "Leave this place, or suffer the fate that binds me to these walls." The friends, now paralyzed by both fear and the supernatural force that surrounded them, pleaded for mercy. In an instant, the room plunged into darkness. The friends felt a bone-chilling touch, and then silence. When the first rays of dawn broke, the mansion stood silent once more, its secrets buried within the decaying walls. The legend of the haunted mansion persisted, a cautionary tale to those who dared to explore the realm of the supernatural. The dilapidated house loomed on the outskirts of town, a spectral relic of forgotten memories. Its windows, shattered by time and neglect, stared like vacant eyes into the encroaching darkness. Ivy crept up the decaying walls, weaving a macabre tapestry that whispered tales of abandonment and despair. One stormy night, a group of curious teenagers decided to venture into the abandoned house, drawn by the allure of the eerie tales that surrounded it. Sarah, Jake, Emily, and Alex gathered outside, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of their flashlights. The wind howled through the skeletal branches of nearby trees as they cautiously pushed open the rusty gate and stepped onto the overgrown path leading to the ominous entrance. The creaking door swung open with a mournful groan, as if protesting the intrusion. The air inside was heavy with the scent of dampness and decay. The friends advanced through the gloom, their footsteps echoing through the desolate halls. Dust particles danced in the narrow beams of their flashlights, creating an otherworldly spectacle. As they explored room after room, a sense of foreboding settled upon them. In the heart of the house, they discovered a grand staircase that spiraled upwards into darkness. Reluctantly, they ascended, the steps protesting with each footfall. On the upper floor, the atmosphere grew even more oppressive. In one room, they stumbled upon a collection of old photographs scattered across a rotting wooden floor. Faded images depicted a family that seemed to have left in haste. their expressions frozen in time. A chill ran down their spines as they realized that the family had abandoned this place, leaving behind more than just memories. A distant sound echoed through the house, a faint, mournful wailing that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. The friends exchanged uneasy glances but pressed on, unable to resist the pull of the unknown. The wailing intensified, now joined by disembodied whispers that echoed through the corridors, each syllable laden with sorrow. In the dim light, shadows seemed to dance on the walls, taking on sinister forms that flickered and contorted. Panic set in as the friends realized they were not alone. The air turned icy cold, and a shapeless figure materialized in the center of the room. It wore the tattered remnants of what once might have been a wedding gown. "Leave this place," the ghostly figure moaned, its voice a haunting lament. "You disturb the peace of the forsaken." The friends, paralyzed with fear, stumbled backward, their retreat halted by an invisible force. The ghostly figure approached, its hollow eyes piercing their souls. As it reached out with translucent fingers, a blinding light enveloped the room. When the friends regained their senses, they found themselves outside the abandoned house. The storm now subsided. The spectral mansion stood silent, as if swallowing their encounter whole. The friends exchanged bewildered glances, haunted by the echoes of the supernatural encounter that would forever linger in their nightmares. The abandoned house, with its tragic history, remained a testament to the thin veil that separates the living from the lingering spirits of the past. The moon hung low in the ink-black sky as Jenna, a thrill-seeker with an insatiable curiosity, stood before the desolate mansion that cast a long shadow over the quiet town. The house, with its peeling paint and shattered windows, whispered secrets of a forgotten era. Ignoring the warnings of locals who spoke of restless spirits, Jenna pushed open the rickety gate and ventured into the heart of the abandoned dwelling. The air inside was thick with silence, broken only by the eerie creaking of floorboards beneath her cautious steps. Her flashlight flickered, casting unsettling shadows on the decaying wallpaper. As she explored room after room, a sense of unease settled in her stomach. In the dilapidated kitchen, a single swinging light bulb cast a pale glow on rusted appliances and a shattered dinner table, frozen in time. As Jenna ascended the staircase, the air grew colder. A soft whisper echoed through the corridor, barely audible but enough to send shivers down her spine. "Leave," it seemed to say, a spectral plea woven into the very fabric of the house. Undeterred, Jenna reached the hallway on the upper floor. The door to a small room stood ajar, revealing a glimpse of darkness within. She hesitated, then pushed it open. The room was empty except for a dusty, cracked mirror that reflected a distorted version of herself. A sudden chill gripped the air, and Jenna's breath caught as the figure in the mirror moved independently. Panic set in as she watched her own reflection contort into a grotesque, sinister grin. The room seemed to pulse with malevolent energy. In a desperate attempt to escape, Jenna stumbled backward, only to find the door slammed shut behind her. The room plunged into darkness, and the mirror began to crack, each fracture accompanied by an otherworldly whisper. Terrified, Jenna fumbled for her flashlight, the feeble beam revealing ghostly figures surrounding her. "Release us," the voices murmured, their sorrowful pleas echoing in the confined space. Jenna, paralyzed by fear, felt an icy grip on her shoulder. The room echoed with anguished wails as she succumbed to the unknown forces that lingered within. When the first light of dawn painted the sky, the abandoned house stood in silence once more, concealing the secrets of its spectral inhabitants. Jenna's disappearance remained a mystery, a cautionary tale for those who dared to tread the haunted corridors of forgotten homes.